Hare Krishna Mataji, can I share the
Yes, yes,
Hare
Prabhuji, you can share.
Krishna? Let's start with a small kirtan. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Vandamo Savadana Mate Pandamoi savadana mate Jara prasade vai e bhavatoriya jai Jara prasade vai e bhavatoriya jai Krishna bhakti hoi jaha hoite कृष्ण प्राप्ति होय जहाँ होइते गुरु मुख पद्मावाक्य चित्ते ते कोरियाज्ञा गुरु मुख पद्मावाक्य चित्ते ते कोरियाज्ञा आरना कोरि हो मारे आसा आरना कोरि हो मारे आसा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति जय प्रसादे पुरे सर्व आसा जय प्रसादे पुरे सर्व आसा चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेदे गाय जहाँ चरितो वेदे गाय जहाँ चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु जनर अधम जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना आहा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोर पदाचाय आहा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोर पदाचाय एबे जाय गुसु त्रिभुवना एबे जाय गुसु त्रिभुवना आहा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोर पदाचाय आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोर पदाचाय एबे जाय सुति भुवना प्रभुपाद पतित पावना श्री गुरुदेव लोयला शरणा जय प्रभु पदा प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुव एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रिये नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गुरतिशे नमः नमो ब्रह्मण्याय देवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुचारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमनः चैतन्येश्वरम् ॐ अपवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थां गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सर्वाभ्यन्तरं शुचे श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु हरे कृष्ण Hare Krishna Lilananda Prabhu, that was Pranam. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to speak something about Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna Shilpa Mataji, thank you so much for scheduling today's session. Thank you Pushkala for joining. Hare Krishna Padmavati Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you so much. Kamal Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam. Madhavi Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Mahatma Ramachandra Das Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Padma Rao Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Subara Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam. Muralidhar Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you so much for
हरे
all of
कृष्ण
you.
प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम
So with all of your blessings and prayers, let me start this today's session on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 15, entitled Incarnation of the Incarnation, Parashurama, the Incarnation. Parashurama, the Lord Warrior's Incarnation. Today we will be reading about text number 21 to 21 to 41. So from where His Grace Aravind Prabhu has left it. So let's decide first today's shloka, and we have do a brief recap of what has happened yesterday, and we'll proceed to our the current text 9, 15, 21. विप्लवीदं स्वशिबिरं प्रतिश्रोता सरिज जले नामश्रुत्य तस्य तद्वीर्यं Viramani Dasanana. Okay, sir. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So, text number 20. Because Kartavirya Arjuna made the water flow in the opposite direction, the camp of the Ravana, which was set up on the bank of the Narmada river near the city of Mahishmati, was inundated. This was unbearable to the ten-headed Ravana, who considered himself a great hero and could not tolerate Kartavirya's Arjuna's purport. Ravana was out touring to gain victory over all other countries, Digvijaya, and he had camped on the bank of Narmada river near the city of Mahishmati. So let us see what has happened so far. So Sukadeva Goswami, having described the story of Pururava, described the descendants of the Pururava in this chapter. So first, in the first four slokas, we have seen the descendants of Pururava, where Ayu, Sutayu, Satayu, Raya, Vijaya, Vijaya, where the descendants of Bhima are mentioned. From Bhima came Kanchana, from Kanchana came Hotraka, Hotraka to Hotraka, and from where Janu, who drank all the water of the Ganges in one sip. From where Puru came, from Puru came Balaka, from Balaka to Ajaka, Ajaka to Kusha, Kusha to Kushambu, Kushambu to Gadi. From the lineage of Gadi, we can see Satyavati and Vishwamitra, the daughter and son. First, from Satyavati, Jamadagni was born, and Jamadagni, Parashrama was born. From Vishwamitra, 101 sons of Madhuchandas and Shunashepa are born. In this chapter, we are seeing about the birth of the Jamadagni and Parashurama. We have seen how the marriage of Satyavati and Ruchika had happened, and Satyavati and Ruchika's wife Satyavati and mother-in-law desired to have a son, and Ruchika prepared two sacrificial oblations of rice, one for his wife from the Brahmana mantra, and another for his mother-in-law from the Kshatriya. And later, it was the oblation got exchanged, and sons of different spirits was born. When Ruchika returned, he understood what had happened and said to his wife, "Your son will be fierce Kshatriya, who punishes everyone, Dandadhara, and your brother will be the best of the Brahmanas, a learned scholar." And Jamadagni's birth. Satyavati pacifies Ruchika and asks for a Brahmana son. And this Kshatriya spirit is transferred to the descendant of the Jamadagni, who is nothing but Parashurama. Jamadagni married Renika, the daughter of Renu. They had many sons. The youngest of them was Parashurama. Then Parashurama's activities we have seen. He was the incarnation of Lord Vasudeva. He destroyed the dynasty of Kartavirya and killed the Kshatriyas on earth 21 times. When they became too proud, apathetic to principles of Brahmanas, they do not consider the Brahmanas covered by passion and ignorance and burden on the earth. Later, Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadev Goswami what was the offense of the Kshatriyas for which Lord Parashurama annihilated them repeatedly. Sukadeva replied as follows. Then the story of Kartavirya Arjuna was beautifully explained by Aravind Prabhuji yesterday. It says the king of Hayas received 1,000 arms by the worshipping Lord Dattatreya. He was undefeatable. He was opulent with beauty, influence, strength, fame, and mystic power, and roamed all over the universe without any opposition. So then the previous sloka, text 20, so it happened when the brief encounter between Ravana and Kartavirya Arjuna is being mentioned. So how was Kartavirya Arjuna over here? Once while enjoying in the water of the river Narmada, the puffed up Kartavirya Arjuna, surrounded by beautiful women and garland with a garland with clay, stopped the flow of water with his arms. Here, the Acharyas gives an analogy. So once while enjoying the water of the river, so here it is described about our enjoyment mentality. So we have so many things to enjoy, not only the river, so many opulences, like birth, maybe name, the position, whatever material benefit, opulences we all possess, we'll be having the enjoyment mentality. But when we have the enjoyment mentality, what happens? Just like Kartaviriya Arjuna, we also get puffed up. Surrounded by beautiful women, so beautiful, either opposite gender or women means the desire, the whatever material desires we have. Sometimes we are garlanded by victory. Sometimes we get success. So we are garlanded. And because of that garland, what happens? We become puffed up by material desires. What happens? The flow of water. The flow of water is nothing but the flow of mercy of the Krishna, flow of the mercy of the entire parampara is stopped. When a person is puffed up by the material desires, like Kartavirya Arjuna, the mercy of Krishna stops flowing towards us. Text number 21, which we are seeing now. Because Kartavirya Arjuna made the water flow in the opposite direction, the camp of Ravana, which was set up on the bank of Narmada river in the near city of the Maheshwati, was inundated. This was unbearable to the 10-headed Ravana, who considered himself a great hero and could not tolerate. By this time, Ravana got all the powers of all this powers from the Shiva and the thing, and he was very puffed up that he is undefeatable. He is touring entire planet, so showing his strength that I am indefeatable. Then he got encountered with the Kartavirya Arjuna. That what happened? He was unbearable to see the 10-headed Ravana. Sorry, 10-headed Ravana was unbearable to see the opulence of Kartavirya Arjuna, the power of Kartavirya Arjuna. Just like when this is the nature of the envy. We all see how envy works. So when how to detect envy? Matsaryata. It's called in Sanskrit. It's called Matsaryata. How can we detect envy? So it is said that there are a few ways where we can detect envy. One of few of the which I am sharing here. It is gain as a loss. So one test is gain as a loss. So when someone else succeeds, are we feeling subtle sting? When somebody succeeds more than us, is it pinching our heart? That is what one test for envy. If it is pinching our heart, the gain of other person is a lot we think is lost to ourselves, and we are envious of the person. Second is the fault finding. If our first instinct upon seeing someone praised is to look into their faults or rationalize their success as luck or material motivation, this is a defense mechanism. So whether it is being material or spiritual, when the other person is being praised, we say, this happens like this. By luck, he got it. What is there to do that? So this is what we think. This is another case, fault finding. We try to see fault in others. So when a beautiful festival is being organized by a devotee and we are not able to organize it, we think this is luck. This is because they have so many things they are able to do, and we try to find fault. You see, I told him he cannot do this. There is a fault here. We tend to find faults in the organizing. When such things are there, it is envy. Second is obstructing. Third is obstructing. A strong symptom is to desire to put impediments in the path of someone. Physically, we not only think envious of others, we start acting, we start obstructing the success of others. We actively stop them by whatever means it takes. That is a severe case of envy. Fourth is lack of appreciation. If we find it difficult to genuinely praise another person, especially a peer or a competitor, it's a material thing again. It's a competitor, it's a peer. Peer devotee is getting success, and we are not able to praise him or her. And that is where our Matsarata sits on. This is what we become unbearable for the success of the others. Just like this is the nature of envy. This is how we have to detect envious nature in others. Then what we have to do? The only solution is to the chanting of the holy name. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Hello, Nastya, Nastya, Nastya. This chanting of the holy name cannot be done in a private way. Of course, personal sadhana is there. That is also accepted. But this doesn't happen by sole way. It happens only in the association of the devotees. When we start coming to the satsang, when we associate with the devotees, do the Harinama Sankirtana, they serve, then actual Nirmasarita happens. Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, it says, this Bhagavatam is only for people who has Nirmasarita. But we all have Matsarita. Then what should we do? Again, Srimad Bhagavatam is a solution. Present Matsarita, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, when we hear Bhagavatam, slowly our Matsarita comes down and we can become Nirmatsarita. We start appreciating the devotees. Then we can progress in our spiritual life. Text number 22. So text number 22 till 24 we'll be seeing, but there is no purport over here. When Ravana attempted to insult Kartavirya Arjuna in the presence of the woman and thus offended him, Kartavirya Arjuna easily arrested Ravana and put him in the custody in the city of Mahishmati, just as one catches a monkey, and then released him neglectfully. Once, while Kartavirya Arjuna was wandering engaged in a solitary forest and hunting, he approached the residence of Jamadagni. But Kartavirya Arjuna had no business going to the residence of Jamadagni, but because he was puffed up by his extraordinary power, he went there and offended Parshurama. This was the prelude to his being killed by the Parshurama. Text number 24. The sage Jamadagni, who was engaged in great austerities in the forest, received the king very well, along with king's soldiers, ministers, and carriers. He supplied all the necessities to worship his guests, for he possessed a Kamadhenu cow that was able to supply everything. Perfect. The Brahma Samhita informs us that the spiritual world, and especially the planet Goloka Vrindavana, where Krishna lives, is full of Surabhi cows. Surabhera Abhipalayantam. The Surabhi cow is also called Kamadhenu. Although Jamadagni possessed only one Kamadhenu, he was able to get it from it everything desirable. Thus, he was able to receive the king along with the king's great number of followers, ministers, soldiers, animals, and palanquin carriers. When we speak of a king, we understand that he is accompanied by many followers. Jamadagni was able to receive all the king's followers properly and feed them sumptuously with food prepared in ghee. The king was astonished at how opulent Jamadagni was because of possessing only one cow, and therefore he became very envious of the great sage. This was the beginning of his offense. Parashurama, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, killed Kartavirya Arjuna because Kartavirya Arjuna was too proud. One may possess unusual opulence in this material world, but if one becomes puffed up and acts whimsically, he will be punished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a lesson to be learned from this history, in which the Parashurama became angry at Kartavirya Arjuna and killed him and rid the entire world of Kshatriyas 21 times. This is the reason why Kartavirya Arjuna was killed. So here it is explained, just like how Ravana was, so as we already said, what is the nature of the enemy? We start actively obstructing the other people who has more opulence than us. So here Ravana was trying to insult Kartavirya Arjuna. Yeah, you are not such a great person. He wanted to prove that. But what happened? Kartavirya Arjuna easily arrested Ravana. So when we are not capable enough, the other person is successful, having more opulence, when we try to insult others, it becomes an insult to us. Many times, I have seen in our organization where I work, so many people, they try to down other people who gets promotion, who gets success. This happens in a political world, in an office culture. This is normal. We can see. And in turn, what happens? The one who tries to insult gets insulted before all of us. Instead, this is the nature of envy. Actually, it doesn't not only tries to destroy others, it actually destroys first. We are not we are not aware of this fact that this envy is actually destroying us within. Krishna doesn't like this envious nature. As a devotee, we should not possess envious, especially towards the other devotees. So it is said when we go out of our preaching, we should be compassionate. So we should see other devotees who are under us trying to progress, but we should not become insecure that the one who is I'm preaching is becoming successful. That is envious nature. That doesn't work out. So we should be compassionate to others and we should be appreciative to others, but not envious like Kartavirya or Ravana. So what happened later? This Kartavirya, while he was wandering in the solitary forest hunting, he approached Jamadagni. So there he saw the divine extraordinary power of the Jamadagni, and again the same envious nature came into the Kartavirya because he was also a materialistic like Ravana. And he actively tried to destroy Jamadagni. He had take the opulence of Jamadagni. This is another nature of envy. So when other person has the more opulence, we try to grab them. We try to grab them, pull down from the position, grab down from that position, and this led to the prelude to the. This is called Vaishnava Aparadha. Jamadagni was a devotee. So when we do Vaishnava Aparadha, all the things which is obtained by us will be killed. We are killed by the offense for this offense. Krishna doesn't kill physically. That is another case of, but he kills the devotion in us. When we do Vaishnava Aparadha, the entire Vaishnava, the entire Bhakti, Sukruti, what we have got is completely destroyed. That is very much dangerous for our spiritual life. Following the four regulative principles, taking the shelter of the Guru, and all the senior devotees coming to satsang, learning Bhagavatam, and most important of all thing is do not commit Vaishnava Aparad. Even after doing all these things, a small Vaishnava Aparad can deter us from the bhakti. That we should be very much careful of. So just like when Jamadagni came, when the Kartavirya Arjuna came, Jamadagni received the king very well, along with the king's soldiers, ministers, and carriers. This is how we should welcome any person, not only a devotee, not only whether he is an enemy or friend. We should be equal in receiving our guests. Just like how Yudhishthira Maharaj received Durvasa Muni, just like how Vedavyas received Narada Muni. This is we should give proper respect to the guests coming to our house. We have deities in our house, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, or Gauranitai, or this house doesn't belong to us. This house belongs to the deities, isn't it? Anyone coming to our house is a guest of the deities, not our guests, not our enemies. How should we treat a guest of our deities? Very nicely, whatever opulence we have, ask him to sit, him or her to sit, give some prasad, offer some water, whatever things. So in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, there is an entire way of how you should receive a guest is mentioned. If you do not have any asana to sit, you put a mat. So all those etiquettes we will be following when a guest is received. Just like the same Jamadagni received Kartavirya Arjuna. So there are so many Surabhi cows on the spiritual planet, and this Surabhi cow is also called Kamadhenu. So seeing the opulence of the Kamadhenu, whatever Jamadagni is asking for, the Kamadhenu is providing it. So we all have Kamadhenus also here. We cannot say Kamadhenu. Of course, the cows, we have the organic cows, our breeds, Indian breeds of cows are also a type of Surabhi cows, but not the spiritual cows. But we also have, more important thing is the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So the Vaishnavas can and fulfill any desire, just like the Kamadhenu provides us. So we should be very respectful, and we should be very grateful for all the Vaishnavas and the association which we all have. So seeing the opinions of the Jabanagni, so the enviousness has come up. As a devotee, we can become envious of others devotees, which we should be avoiding it. So dedicated services, whether we are any service or doing any activities, we tend to become envious of the other devotees, which is not advisable. So this was the beginning of the offense. When we become envious of the devotee, that is the first step where our big downfall happens. Because one way of envy is becoming pride. This is an indirect way of becoming pride also. I was supposed to be the great, and why this devotee is being great? That's what the pride comes in a different way, in the form of envy. And this becomes the downfall of the devotional side. One should not offend even an enemy. What to speak of anything? A devotee. One should not even offend an enemy. Because Prabhupada says, ultimately, each and every one of us are the spiritual souls, part and parcel of Krishna. So, in one of his lecture, His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu was saying during his earlier days of Brahmacharya ashram. So, his goal was when he was joining ISKCON. So, he had two things in the mind. He should be favorable to the devotees, or he should not be negative to the devotees. Neutral. Being neutral and being positive is the first thing he took the it's kind of a he took it. Because we have to work with so many devotees. Presently, I may not work with this particular devotee, but in the future, I may work with the same devotee. So who knows? Krishna arranges in such a way. So we should not offend any person, any enemy. Offense against the holy name, when we offend against the holy name, the power is taken, how the holy name is taken away. Nama, so that we don't know 10 offenses to holy name. The committing sinful activities on the strength of we may try to follow all the things, but the most important things which we neglect is, as a trivial thing is, we are inattentive towards that holy name. First minimum thing which we have to do, inattentive to the holy name, committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. I am a devotee. Whatever I am doing, Krishna will accept. This doesn't work out. This is offense against holy name. What happens? The power of holy name is taken away. We may be chanting so many rounds. You may be chanting 192, 128, 63, all those things. But there will be no power in that holy name. If you don't try, we have to try not offending the holy name. So Parashurama, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, killed Kartavirya Arjuna because Kartavirya Arjuna was too proud. So here Kartavirya Arjuna was supposed to be a king. He's a king. He has to protect his citizens, all the people. But what he is doing, he is becoming pride, and he is also destroying the Krishna consciousness of the subordinates. Similarly, we all take certain responsibilities. Whether we can be devotional, what are the responsibilities? We will be taking their leadership roles, like temple president, leaders, parent, and will be leading certain satsangs. We are a spouse. We are all responsible at every level. We are indirectly. It says we are also indirectly as a leader. Some people start following us, seeing us, and what are we doing? We have to be responsible for the Krishna consciousness of the other devotees. Being in the responsible position, we should protect the people under us. We should cultivate Krishna consciousness under us, who are dependent on us. Sometimes, as a counsel, instead of helping the devotees, we may become proud. So I am holding so many satsangs. I am holding so many things. I will not allow that people under me to grow. This is a negative way of preaching. So we should have we generally follow DCS, right? Devotee Care Service. So what is devotee care service? So we bring the new devotees, we cultivate the devotees, And we see that the devotees are growing naturally very nicely, which is what we see in our satsang, right? So one may possess unusual opulence in this material world. So one may possess unusual opulence in this material world, but if one becomes puffed up and acts whimsically, he will be punished by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what we hear in the slate classes. In many classes, slate, how a leader should behave, how responsible should be. So having a satsang is also a kind of opulence. So which comes, these are this brings us into limelight, like doing arti and mangalarti in the temple. All those we have heard from the Radhesham Prabhu, right? These are also a devotional opulences. So if we have opulences, but if you become puffed up, naturally, physical, what happens? Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to punish us. This is the important lesson we have to learn from this history, in which Parashurama became angry at Kartavirya and killed him. Text number 20. Anyone who would like to volunteer for text number 25? Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to read text number 20? Is it visible actually?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam,
Let me
Prabhuji.
read the entire purpose, entire translation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Kartavirya Arjuna thought that Jamadagni was more powerful and wealthy than himself because of possessing a jewel in the form of the Kamadhenu. Therefore, he and his own men, the Haihayas, were not very much appreciative of Jamadagni's reception. On the contrary, they wanted to possess the Kamadhenu, which was very useful for the execution of the Agnihotra sacrifice. Can I read the purport also, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mother.
Yes, Prabhuji. Purport. Jamadagni was more powerful than Kartavirya Arjuna because of performing the Agnihotra Yajna with clarified butter received from the Kamadhenu. Not everyone can be expected to possess such a cow. Nonetheless, an ordinary man may possess an ordinary cow, give protection to this animal, take sufficient milk from it, and engage the milk to produce butter and ghee, especially for the performing the Agnihotra Yajna. This is possible for everyone. Thus, we find that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advises Go Rakshya, the protection of cows. This is essential because of cows are cared for properly, they will surely supply sufficient milk. We have practical experience in America that in our various ISKCON farms we are giving the proper protection to the cows and receiving more than enough milk. In other farms, the cows do not deliver as much milk as in our farms because our cows know very well that we are not going to kill them. They are happy and they give ample milk. Therefore, this instruction given by Lord Krishna, Go Rakshya, is extremely meaningful. The whole world must learn from Krishna how to live happily without scarcity simply by producing food grains, Annad Bhavanti Bhutani, and giving protection to the cows, Go Rakshya. Krishi Ko Rakshya Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Svabhavajam. Those who belongs to the third level of human society, namely the mercantile people, must keep land for producing food grains and giving protection to cows. This is the injunction of Bhagavad Gita. In the matter of protecting cows, the meat eaters will protest, but in answer to them, we may say that since Krishna gave stress to cow protection, those who are inclined to eat meat may eat the flesh of unimportant animals like hogs, dogs, goat, and sheep, but they should not touch the life of the cows, for this is destructive to the spiritual advancement of human society. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Babaji.
So here it is mentioned that Kartavirya Arjuna thought that Jamadagni was more powerful and wealthy than himself because of possessing a jewel in the form of Kamadhenu. Therefore, he and his own men, the high heirs, was not very much appreciative. So if you see in the history of Srimad Bhagavatam, the story of Chitraketu. who did not have a son, and he married so many wives, so many women in the pursuit of a male child, but he could not get. Later, he got a benediction for a son who will be the cause of his sorrow and misery and happiness. His name was Shoka Ashoka, and it was he was born to the elderly queen, and by that Chitraketu was most attached to the elderly queen. Seeing this, the other queens got envious. Why should this elder queen, should have all the opulence of this Chitraketu? Why are we neglected? So, and they, what did they do? Because of this envious nature, they silently killed the Shoka in his sleep. And Chitraketu was lamenting like anything. Isn't it? You see, the same way, the Kartaviri Arjuna and the Haihayas was very envious of the opulence of Jamadagni. They could not tolerate and they wanted to snatch the opulence of Jamadagni. They were not appreciative. And this is what is explained over here. So we find in Bhagavad Gita that Lord Krishna advises Gorakshya, the protection of the cow. This is essential because if cows are cared for properly, they will surely supply the sufficient milk. So most important is the cows. Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Go Brahmanitaya. Krishna loves Brahmanas, and more than the Brahmanas, he loves the cows. When we serve the cows, when we protect the cows, and Krishna is going to be very much pleasing. So we have the practical experience in the many. So many practical experience we see in our daily life, in our ISKCON centers, especially our VSK, and we can see our Dasraj Prabhu's Goshala, how the devotees are taking care of the cows very nicely. Why our the satsangs are progressing very nicely? Because because of the Go Raksha in the VSK and the Goshalas, which ISKCON is doing it. Therefore, this instruction is given by Lord Krishna. Go Raksha is extremely meaningful. The whole world must learn from the Krishna how to live happily without scarcity. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita in 3.2021, यद्यद् आचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तत् रेवतो जनाः सयत् प्रमाणं कृत्य लोकस्तत् अनुवर्तते. Whatever a great man does, common man tends to follow. That Krishna is not only saying he is living by an example. He is saying he is a cowhead boy. The Vrindavan, he is a cowhead boy, having small garlands, all those things. He is hiding the cows, and all the people in the Vrindavan are extremely happy. They do not have any opulence. We hear this as a Kirtan. Vrindavana Ramyasthana Divya Chintamani Dhama. So Vrindavan is Divya Chintamani Dhama. Have you seen any gems like emeralds, rubies in Vrindavan? No. We see just Raj. The second is we see the pure-hearted Vrajavasis. And most importantly, the cows which are being taken care very nicely. These are all Chintamanis of Vrindavan. And we can be happily. So Krishna is showing that we can become happy by living simple thinking, sorry, simple living and high thinking. We can depend for our food on cows and bulls. There is no scarcity. We are dying to eat food. So many like pizzas, burgers, so many other things which we are tending to eat. But these are all not necessary for our daily living. Just grains, milk, and all the things which cows and through the cows we are getting it. Not Bhavanti Bhutani. There's so much research, artificial research, chemical research happening on how to produce food. That much is not required. Just protect the cows very nicely and do yajnas, and because yajnas give the rains, all those things, and we are happy with that. And we have a lot of time for Krishna Katha. In the olden days, what people were used to doing, they used to go to the field, do the farming, and in the night they used to come and listen to the Krishna Katha or Rama Katha. But no, today we are working globally. From morning, evening, and night, we do not have any time, even to eat food also. We are earning our money, but we are not able to find time to eat our own food as well. What are we going to? This is Ugra Karma. Text number 26. Anyone would like to read text number 26?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Shall I read?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being puffed up by material power, Kartavirya Arjuna encouraged his men to steal Jamadagni's Kamadhenu. Thus, the men forcibly took away the crying Kamadhenu along with her calf to Mahishmati, Kartavirya Arjuna's capital. Purport. The word Havirdhanim is significant in this verse. Havirdhanim refers to a cow required for supplying havis or ghee for the performance of ritualistic ceremonies in sacrifices. In human life, one should be trained to perform yagnas. As we are informed in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, yagnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. If we do not perform yagna, we shall simply work very hard for sense gratification like dogs and hawks. This is not civilization. A human being should be trained to perform yagna. Yagnat bhavati parjanyaha. If yagnas are regularly performed, there will be proper rain from the sky, and when there is regular rainfall, the land will be fertile and suitable for producing all the necessities of life. Yagna, therefore, is essential. For performing yagna, clarified butter is essential, and for clarified butter, cow protection is essential. Therefore, if we neglect the Vedic way of civilization, we shall certainly suffer. So-called scholars and philosophers do not know the secret of success in life, and therefore they suffer in the hands of Prakriti, nature. Prakritihi kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvashaha. Nonetheless, although they are forced to suffer, they think they are advancing in civilization. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore meant to revive a mode of civilization in which everyone will be happy. This is the motive of our Krishna conscious movement. Yagne sukhena bhavantu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So every one of us are trying to become happy, isn't it? In search of happiness. Every soul is part and parcel of Krishna, and we want to become happy. That is one of the nature of the soul. But what happened? We are becoming puffed up with the material nature, material power. So what is Srila Prabhupada saying in this case? Why we should not become material power? If you see the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 16th chapter, 263-64 verse. तांद्र दैन्य देखी सुनी पाशन विधारे आमी तुष्टम ये तवे कहिलो दोनारे उत्तम यही न करी माना अपनारे अचिरे गरीबे कृष्णा तुम्हारे उद्धारे. Indeed, the humility of these two brothers could even melt stone, because I was very much pleased with their behavior. I told them, although you are both very much exalted, you consider yourself inferior, and because of this, Krishna will soon deliver you. Or what is the Prabhupada saying in the purport? Materially, one may be very opulent, experienced, influential. This is in relation to the Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Materially, one may become very opulent, experienced, influential, and educated. But if one still thinks himself lower than the straw in the street, one attracts the attention of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna. So we say, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagdisha Kameye Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatat Bhakti Rahayatuke. He said, I do not want any name, fame, wealth. Of course, literally it means you do not want all those things. Second thing is, though you possess all the things, you have name, fame, the people, and all the beauties around us, and all the scholarly things we have, we should not become very puffed up with all these things. We should not be attached to all things. There are so many devotees who have all this wealth, like King Ambarish Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. They all have opulence. They did not deny the opulence, but they are not under the position of these positions. So we should not be attached to the material opulences. According to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions, a devotee should never be puffed up by material power. He should know that material power is the result of one's past good activities or karma and is consequently transient. Though we are having material opulence, we should understand that because of the punya which we had done earlier, it is coming. These are all transient. These are not going to save our life, save our soul. Ultimately, it is Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama eva kevalam. Harinama in the association of devotees, which is only going to save us. There is nothing else which can save us. So what happens in the material thing when we are puffed up? We try to grab forcibly. We snatch the opulence of the other people. This is what we are seeing in the present material world. And we all want to become happy. So for that, we first of one of the happiness is food, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitram. Ahara is one of the basic necessities. So how does ahara come? By the rains. How does the rain come? Yajnartha karmano anyatra loko kayam karmana bandha. So the yajna, by the way of when you do yajna, havisa, ghee, using ghee, then reward, the devatas gets pleased and they give the rain. And by that we get the nice crops. And by that we can have the nice food. So this is a Vedic civilization. Yagnat bhavanti parjanya. If yajnas are regularly performed, there will be a proper rain from the sky. And when there is a regular rainfall, the land will be fertile and suitable for producing. Otherwise, what happens when you don't do yajnas? This becomes like a sense gratification, like dogs and hogs. When we don't do yajnas, especially in the Kali Yuga, it is Sankirtan Yajna. So we have to do this. Otherwise, we'll be living a life of sense gratification like hogs and dogs. The Krishna conscious movement is therefore meant to revive the mode of civilization. This way, the performance of Yajna, Krishi, Goraksha, all those things we have to be doing. Varnashrama Dharma also. Along with the Bhagavata Dharma, Varnashrama Dharma also plays an important role in Krishna consciousness. This is the motive of our Krishna consciousness. Yajne Sukhena Bhavantu. So by the means of Yajna, we become happy. So text number 27. Thereafter, Kartavirya Arjuna, having left with the Kamadhenu, Parashurama returned to the ashrama. When Parashurama, the youngest son of Jamadagni, heard about Kartavirya Arjuna's nefarious deed, he became as angry as a trampled snake. Taking up his fierce chopper, his shield, his bow, and a quiver of arrows, Lord Parashurama, exceedingly angry, chased Kartavirya Arjuna just like a lion chases the elephant. As King Kartavirya Arjuna entered his capital, Mahismati Puri, he saw Lord Parashurama, the best of the Brigu dynasty, coming after him holding a chopper, shield, bow, and arrow. Lord Parashurama was covered with a black deer skin, and his matted locks of hair appeared like a sunshine. Upon seeing the Parashurama, Kartavirya Arjuna immediately feared him and sent many elephants, chariots, horses, infantry, soldiers equipped with the clubs, swords, arrows, Ishtis, Satangis, Shaktis, and many similar weapons to fight against him. Kartavirya Arjuna sent 17 full Akshonis of soldiers to check Parashurama, but Lord Parashurama alone killed all of them. How many Akshonis of Sena? 17 Akshonis of Sena Kartavirya Arjuna has sent. How many did Kauravas sent? It is 7, right? Cannot Krishna kill? You can see Parashurama killed all the 17. Parashurama is non-different from Krishna. Krishna could have himself killed all the 7 Akshonis of the Sena, but he did not do because he wanted to glorify Arjuna. We have to understand. The word Akshoni refers to the military phalanx consisting of 21,870 chariots and elephants, 109,350 infantry soldiers, and 65,610 horses. An exact description is also given in Mahabharata Adi Parva. This is a sloka. I am not going through that entire sloka. So all this Akshonis is being explained over here, and the 17 such Akshonis are sent onto Parashurama. Lord Parashurama, being expert in killing the military strength of the enemy, worked with speed of the mind and the wind, slicing his enemies with his chopper or parasu. Wherever he went, the enemies fell, their legs, arms, and shoulders being severed, their chariots drivers killed, and their carriers and elephants and horses are inherited. In the beginning, when the army of the enemy was full of fighting soldiers, elephants, and horses, Lord Parashurama proceeded into their midst at the speed of a mind to kill them. When somewhat tired, he slowed down to the speed of wind and continued to kill the enemies vigorously. The speed of the mind is greater than the speed of the wind. Text number 32. Can anyone read text number 32 to 34? Anyone would like to read? By manipulating his axes and arrows, Lord Parashurama cut to the pieces the shields, flags, bows, and bodies of Kartaviri Arjuna soldiers who fell on the battlefield, muddying the ground with their blood. Seeing his reverses, Kartaviri Arjuna, infuriated, rushed to the battlefield. Then Kartaviri Arjuna, with his 1,000 arms, simultaneously fixed arrows on 500 bows to kill Lord Parashurama. But Lord Parashurama, the best of the fighters, released enough arrows with only one bow to cut them to the pieces immediately, all the arrows and bows in the hands of Kartaviri Arjuna. When his arrows were cut to pieces, Kartaviri Arjuna uprooted many trees and hills with his own hands and again rushed strongly towards Lord Parashurama to kill. But Parashurama then used his axe with great force to cut off Kartaviri Arjuna's arms, just as one might loop off the hoods of the serpent. So imagine you are watching the Mahabharata Narsimha last half an hour, how there's a dramatic encounter between Hiranyakashipu and Narsimha is happening. You can see the same fierce, intense fight is happening between Parshurama and Kartaviri Arjuna. Anyone would like to read further?
Hare Krishna, can I read it?
Yes, you can read it. Till 38.
Text number 36, translation. Thereafter, Parshurama cut off like a mountain peak the head of Kartavirya, who had already lost his arms. When Kartavirya's 10,000 sons saw their father killed, they all fled in fear. Then Parshurama, having killed the enemy, released the Kamdenu, which had undergone great suffering, and brought it back with its calf to his residence, where he gave it to his father Jamadagni. Can I continue with text 37?
Yeah, 37 and 38 also you can continue.
Translation. Parshurama described to his father and brothers his activities in killing Kartavirya. Upon hearing of these deeds, Jamadagni spoke to his son as follows. Text 38, translation. O great hero, my dear son Parshurama, you have unnecessarily killed the king who is supposed to be the embodiment of all the demigods. Thus you have committed a sin. Hare Krishna.
So, as you can see, so Parashurama was going on destroying the entire Kshatriya race 21 times. It was very fearful. He's going with the speed of a mind, not the speed of the wind. It's the speed of the mind he's going. And 21 times he has killed so many Kshatriyas. So why? Because Kartaviri Arjuna and his team offended Jamadagni. Naturally, Jamadagni would have been feeling very nice. Oh, my son is doing very nice. All the Kshatriyas are being chopped off. He should have become happy. But what is Jamadagni instruction? He giving instruction over here. Oh, Parashurama, you have unnecessarily killed the king, who is supposed to be the embodiment of all demigods. In those days, the king is considered to be the embodiment of all the demigods. Even if it was all this, what is his name? I forgot. So he can see Kartaviri Arjuna, whether it's Ravana or whatever name. So king is supposed to be the embodiment of all the demigods, and you have destroyed them because if you destroy the king, the bad elements will start appearing. This is what sin has committed. And Jamadagni in the later section 39 to 41 he is giving the Parashurama how one should become forgive, how should one have forgiveness. So as you all know, in the next three few slokas, we will be seeing how Jamadagni instructions on the forgiveness. If you remember, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's visit recently in the morning sessions, he was in one of the Bhakti Center discussion, he was explaining about forgiveness and justice. You might be remembering, right? So when one should be forgiving and one should be having justice. So that is what the forgiveness is. So, as a Brahmana, the biggest quality one should possess as a Brahmana is forgiveness. That we will see in the next session. By forgiving only, we can become happy. There is no other way. So, if we want to become happy, start inculcating the nature of forgiveness. So anyone would like to read text number 39 to 40?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, if no one
Yes,
is
yes,
reading,
Mataji.
shall I read?
Yes, Mataji, sure.
39. My dear son, we are all Brahmanas and have become worshipable for the people in general because of our quality of forgiveness. It is because of this quality that Lord Brahma, the supreme spiritual master of this universe, has achieved his post. Text number 40. The duty of a Brahmana is to culture the quality of forgiveness, which is illuminating like the sun. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is pleased with those who are forgiving. Purport. Shall I read the purport also, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Please go ahead.
Purport. Different personalities become beautiful by possessing different qualities. Chanakya Pandita says that the cuckoo bird, although very black, is beautiful because of its sweet voice. Similarly, a woman becomes beautiful by her chastity and faithfulness to her husband, and an ugly person becomes beautiful when he becomes a learned scholar. In the same way, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras become beautiful by their qualities. Brahmanas are beautiful when they are forgiving, Kshatriyas when they are heroic, and never retreat from fighting. Vaishyas when they enrich cultural activities and protect cows, and Shudras when they are faithful in the discharge of duties pleasing to their masters. Thus, everyone becomes beautiful by his special qualities, and the special quality of the Brahmana, as described here, is forgiveness.
Thank
The
you.
last one, shall I read?
After that, you can read, Mataji. Let me explain this 40. You can read 41.
Okay.
So the one, so this ISKCON movement was formed by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada with one of the motto has to create Brahmanas, isn't it? So he wanted to create many Brahmanas from the Western country. All those people bring us to the Brahmana culture. And what is the prime quality of being a Brahmana? It is forgiveness. Because people, Brahmanas are by nature having special quality of forgiveness. They are attractive. Okay. So to become forgiving, what should we do? So what is the nature? What is the quality which we have to be possessing to be forgiving? His Grace Radhesham Prabhu was explaining in one of his lectures. We should become patient, humble, and tolerant. If we are not patient, humble, and tolerant, we cannot develop the quality of forgiveness. It is impossible. As a potential leaders, as a spouse, or as anything, as a person, we should lead by our example. We should be very forgiving to our dependents. So different personalities become beautiful by different qualities. Everyone have their own different qualities, and by those qualities, by possessing the qualities, they become beautiful. So here, so many things are explained with Chanakya Pandita. Cuckoo bird, though it is very black, it possesses sweet voice. Because of sweet voice, it is beautiful. Similarly, a woman becomes beautiful by her chastity and faithfulness to her husband. An ugly person becomes beautiful when he becomes a learned scholar. In the same way, Brahmanas become beautiful when they are forgiving. Kshatriyas by not retreating from the battlefield. This is what Krishna was trying to protect Arjuna from. He is a Kshatriya, he should not lose his opulence. Vaishyas by the cultural activities, protection. Sudras by the discharge of the duties. So, how should in this lecture by his grace Radhesham Prabhu, he was explaining why one will lose us forgiving nature, because we tend to become angry because of like just see the Parshurama is showing he became angry and he lost his forgiving attitude and he started killing all the kings. Even the divine personality, like supreme personality of Godhead, is showing by his example. When you become too much angry, you will tend to lose the forgiving nature. And he is ready to take the necessary instruction from a Brahmana. So everyone should have a Brahmana friend or a Vaishnava friend, a devotee friend. When we become angry, we can consult this Brahmana or a devotee so that our forgiveness attitude is revoked again. So why do we become angry? Because we become agitated. So why do we become agitated? So Radheshyam Prabhu was giving a nice acronym of 5 letters. If CEO, IF, CEO. So what are the reasons why we become agitated? I is when someone insults us. When someone insults us, we become agitated. Like Hiranyakashipu was agitated by Prahlad Maharaj. Because of the FE stands for frustration. Because we have expectations and the expectations are not met, we become frustrated. By frustration, we become agitated. C is controlling somebody. We try to control our spouse, our children, so many people. When they are not under our control, we become agitated. E, expectation. Unrealistic expectation creates agitation again. O, opinion. When people doesn't take our opinion, whatever opinion we are giving, they are not taking it, they are only lending a deaf ear, and we become agitated. You don't listen to my words. I am saying so many things and you don't listen. So these are the 5 qualities. IFCEO. Insult, frustration, controlling at nature, unrealistic expectations, opinions. So when this forgiveness attitude comes down, what happens? Our relations strains. Whatever may be. Husband and wife, all those things, mother and son, or disciple and guru. This all gets destroyed when we do not have any forgiving attitude. The choice is ours. If you want to build relations, we have to build forgiving attitude. So better to be neutral or positive towards other devotees, as we may have to work as we discussed. So one goal we have to keep it, either we have to become neutral or we have to be positively towards the other devotees. It is better to become positive. This is applicable even in the material world, even in our offices, wherever you are working. If you cultivate this nature, it is very smooth sailing in this material world again. Just like okay, we'll see the next sloka and then continue this forgiving attitude. Mataji, please continue with the for text number 41. Padma Mataji, you can continue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Padma Mataji, you wanted.
Shall I read, sir? Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Translation. My dear son, killing a king who is an emperor is more severely sinful than killing a Brahmana. But now, if you become Krishna conscious and worship the holy places, you can atone for this great sin. Purport. One who fully surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is freed from all sins. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. From the very day or moment he fully surrenders to Sri Krishna, even the most sinful person is freed. Nonetheless, as an example, Jamadagni advised his son Parashurama to worship the holy places. Because an ordinary person cannot immediately surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is advised to go from one holy place to another to find saintly persons and thus gradually be released from sinful reactions. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Parashurama, the Lord's Warrior Incarnation. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So because of the non-forgiving attitude, so it is said we get anger, and anger relates into committing sins. Lust, anger, and greed. These are the 3 gates to the hell. So we are discussing on the forgiveness attitude. So we should be developing forgiving attitude. If you see the Srimad Bhagavatam Govardhan Leela, where Indra committed some sinful activity, right? You remember how he wanted to destroy all the Brajavasis by showering torrential rain because he was not offered the puja. Krishna wanted to divert it to Govardhana. So later, what happened? So when Indra realized his mistake, he went to Krishna for forgiveness. He took the shelter of Surabhi and he went to before Krishna and started surrendering. Isn't it? Then what did Krishna do? Yes, Krishna counseled him, explained to him what is the wrong he has done. Ultimately, did he forgive it, right? If Krishna would not have forgiven Indra, what would have been the position of Indra? Just a simple example. we all want to get initiated. We want to get initiated by a guru. We want to go back to Godhead Krishna, right? We are all here only for the one motto, to go back to Godhead Krishna. And what we do? We, and some ages back, we rejected Krishna, saying, why Krishna, you have to only enjoy. I want to enjoy independently from you, and I will leave you. See, just see the analogy of in the material world. When a husband and wife, whether husband or a wife, deserts the other partner, say, you should enjoy. Today we are seeing so many equalities, right? This equality, that equality, all equalities. Why the other gender should have the equal, so they have the opulence? Only you have to enjoy it. And it comes to the point where husband and wife have a tension between them, and one of them leaves away. And when one of them leaves away for a certain period, and they understand, oh, what a wrong we had done, and they come back to the other spouse seeking forgiveness. If the other person doesn't forgive, what happens? The relation is gone. The same way, if you see Krishna and us, we have left Krishna. We are a wife of, we are supposed to be like a wife of Krishna, isn't it? Then we left him. Krishna is our husband. We left him serving, and now we are asking forgiveness. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Deenabandhu, Jai Pade. What are we doing? We are asking forgiveness. Please forgive me, Krishna. I have done so many crimes. I deserted you, and now I understood my mistake. If Krishna doesn't forgive us, what is our next? What is our fate? The Guru doesn't say. Guru says, you are fit for nothing. If he doesn't forgive us, what happens our fate? So, are we capable of doing devotion? No, we are individually not capable of doing devotion. See, Guru Padma. So only by taking the shelter of the Guru and Vaishnavas, we can get the shelter. And then our Vaishnavas, the Satsang says, you are so committed so many sinful, I don't forgive you. What is our fate? Did you ever imagine it? Krishna, by his example, showing how we should be we should have a forgiving attitude. Of course, we do the necessary things as well. Just like Krishna counseled Indra and Brahma, we also counsel our dependents, all those things. That's it. But ultimately, it's a forgiveness attitude that alone makes us progress. One of the quality progresses in the spiritual life. So we want to be forgiven by Guru and Krishna, but we don't forgive others. Is it justice? So Krishna doesn't like a person who doesn't have the forgiveness attitude. Krishna wants the same qualities as him. One of the qualities is forgiveness. To forgive, one must be humble, patient, and tolerant. Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna, amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. This starts with surrender from Krishna, surrender to Aham Sam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshami Masuchaha. When you humbly take surrender of the Guru and Parampara and Krishna, then they are going to deliver us from all Sarva Papebhyo. Because an ordinary person like us cannot immediately surrender to the Supreme Person, we cannot directly surrender to Krishna. He is advised to go from one holy place to another holy place, and thus gradually be released from. When we visit the holy places, like the Prayag, like Mathura, Vrindavan, Dwarka, Udupi. So these are the holy places. What we go to there, why we should go to holy places? First, we shake the shelter of the Krishna. We hear the Krishna Katha, take the association of the devotees. And in the Bhagavatam, it is said, a pure devotee is the abode of all the holy places. Of course, going to yatras, all those things are not avoided. We have to do it. The most important holy place is satsang. When you are going to satsangs, we are actually going to the holy place. All the holy places are coming to that. They said in the Bhagavatam, Ganga, Yamuna, all those things purify the sins of the other people. By the association of the pure devotees, even Ganga is getting purified. So it is the association of the devotees that is much more important to remind us of our constitutional position, to remind us of the eternal duty of chanting the holy names of the Krishna, to serve the Krishna, Jivera Sarupavai Krishna Netajas. And this is why we have to go to the satsang, which is not different from a holy place. So ultimately, to conclude the session, we have to become tolerant, patient, and peaceful, to become forgiving attitude. And this forgiving attitude, it clears all our sins. And this is what Krishna is expecting all of us from all of us. This is entire summary of this chapter, that we were the warrior incarnation of Parashurama, the warrior incarnation. Thank you so much. If I have committed any wrongs, which please forgive me for that. There are so many things that could be discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Eternally it is going on. Each word is a nectar by itself. Please forgive me for the offense of not able to convey all the messages, but only the message which I know I am trying to follow. I could share it with you. Please pray for me that I will be of some help to this entire parampara and all the Vaishnavas assembled. The forum is open for all. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, that O stands for what? IFCEO.
IFCEO, opinion.
Opinion. Oh, okay,
My
thank
opinion.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Wonderful
Hare
session.
Krishna Mataji for all.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So
Thank you,
please pray
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
please pray for me and the entire devotees. We pray for each other for our spiritual life. So if there are no doubts, can we end up here?
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.
जय
ट्रांसडेंटल बुक श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.
जय
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय.
जय
रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय.
जय
श्री प्रभुपाद की जय.
जय हरे कृष्णा प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम to everybody.
So we'll meet again in the next.
हरे कृष्णा.